my question. I assume that you had it.
No, I don't have it.
Let me find out.
I'm actually right there. I was just.
Good morning, everybody. We are live at Unity. Do not adjust your set. Do not adjust your color. This is just the way we look. You are seen correctly. Everybody, please say good morning. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Dave.
Aw, thank you. Okay. We are, we don't sing from our seats. We sing from our feet. That's a lot of delay. Wow, echo. Woo. All right, let's sing a song, shall we? Everybody stand up, please. You want to sing along? Or not even if you don't want to, stand up, please. We're singing a song I wrote back in the infancy of Unity here in Bend, Holy, Holy, Holy. Eric, why don't you start it?
Holy, 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 I am. Holy, 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 I am.
Okay, that's it. Everybody sing Holy, Holy with us. Here we go.
Holy, holy, holy.
I am.
Holy, holy, holy.
Sing Holy, Holy.
Holy, holy, holy. I am. Holy, holy, holy. I claim my power to change the world, change it with love, change it with love. I claim my power to change the world, and so it is, and so it is.
Claim my power to change the world.
I claim my power to change the world.
Change it with love.
Change it with love. Change it with love. I claim my power to change the world. And so it
sing it to us. Come on. I claim my power.
I claim my power to change the world.
Change the world.
Change it with love. Change it with love. I claim my power to change the world. And so it is.
Sing holy, holy, holy.
So it is.
Holy, holy, holy. Sing out, everybody. Come on.
Holy, holy, holy. I am. Holy, holy, holy.
Eric, why you take this to church for us, buddy? Everybody sing out. Come on, holy.
Holy, 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 holy. I am. Holy, 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 holy I am, and so it is.
Get up for Soul Shine, everybody.
Hello, Unity community. Am I up? Yeah, I'm up. How good was that? Did I count right? Was that 8? Was that 7 or 8 in Soul Shine today? Awesome to see it grow. My name is Nate Hitchcock. I will be your host today. Apparently, we're skipping right to celebrations. Birthday was yesterday, the ripe old age of 49. Glad to be here, glad to be alive.
So, speaking of birthdays, let's just do our March birthdays, shall we?
Dave's favorite.
Well, no, not mine, but I was told to. But that's okay. But it's Nate's birthday. It's my dad's birthday today. And who else has March birthdays? Donna and, ooh, look at all those people. A lot of people. So let's just sing happy birthday, everybody. And Nate, just know that's for you too. Happy birthday
To you.
Sing out, go on.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, everybody. That's Nate too. Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
And we are already off the chart. We've already moved around. I've got no shorter than 3 calls this week about sticking to this thing, and we're already gone. So you are at Unity Community. If you don't know where you're at, we are a wild soul sanctuary. Some are definitely more wild than others. Everyone is welcome here, and by everyone we mean everyone. There's no conditions, no limitations. Everyone, everyone, everyone. There's no exceptions to that. Wild Soul Sanctuary, what does that mean? This is an opportunity where I get to share what it means to me. When I hear Wild Soul Sanctuary, I think of a wild animal sanctuary. And I'm definitely feeling it this morning. As soon as I walked in the door, I got that first day of grade school feeling. Soul Shine was in total chaos. We're definitely wild. Anybody ever feel like the deer who inhabit this town and you come around the corner in your car and they're looking at you with the giant eyes and your ears up straight? You ever feel like that out in the world? Well, this is your place if you feel that way. How do you know if you are a wild soul? You're here now. If you're in here now and you made it through those chants and you're not like, heal the world with love, what is this mumbo jumbo, and you're heading out the door, you are a wild soul and you belong here. So welcome. Our mission statement. Let's read that together. We stand together to create a global ecosystem of unity, deep wisdom, and loving kindness. You're going to notice today I'm going to push us through some of these where we cite togethers. When we sometimes get into that really low wah 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 wah, I like to keep it going. So we're gonna go through those quickly today, not because we're trying to rush through them, but I like the upbeatness of it all. Again, my name is Nate Hitchcock. Speaking for us today, to us today, Reverend Jane. Very excited to have her back. Our youth leader today is William. I'm so proud to call William a friend. Obviously, we've had Soulshine up here. We have 7 or 8 strong. It's great to see all you guys. Lisa's going to be handling our meditation today with these beautiful bowls. And then Jane's going to be back up here to handle prayer, to give us a wonderful prayer today. All right, celebrations. Aside from the birthdays, can I start with the celebration? Because I don't see any hands firing up, which is very odd. There's one over there. No, I don't need it. I got this thing. I got the magic. You're going to head over there, though, because she's going to be the first one. All right. I am celebrating today that my wife, daughter, and I are heading on the road for a 4-day road trip to visit colleges. Our daughter's graduating from high school this year, and so we're going to visit Evergreen College up in Olympia, Washington, and we're popping down to Let's Talk. And then we're popping down to McMinnville to check out Linfield University. So we're super excited about that. It's crazy. Blink, she's 18 next week. Holy cow, celebrating that. Okay, who's got our celebration over here?
It is on. At the end of April, my sister gave birth to her first little one, and so I'm now an aunt of 4, 3 boys, and now 1 little girl.
Woo. Right next to her.
Hi, everybody. Speaking of college trips, we are done with ours, thank God. Gracie and the family visited Pacific University yesterday for her official visit, and she committed. So we're a boxer family now.
I have 2. I will say Evergreen State College rocks. My first one is earlier this week I went up to Seattle pulling my little utility trailer to help an elderly friend of mine move. And I'm an old farm kid. I've been pulling trailers probably since I was 10 or 11. 60 miles an hour going through Seattle on I-5, it comes off the hitch. And I've never had that happen, and it was absolutely amazing. I was just able, everyone backed off, sparks are flying. I was just able to get over 2 lanes onto the side. The only damage was it ground through 2 of the safety chain links. I was able to pick it back up, get it on the trailer, do a bungee hoop through it for a temporary safety chain, and make it to my friends and to the hardware store. So I felt so divinely protected, I couldn't believe it. And related to that, because of the trip to help my friend, I forgot that I had double booked our last Earth Care meeting, and our Earth Care team just took care of it. They carried out that meeting earlier this week. In fact, they were so productive around upcoming events that I may start skipping all of those meetings. So thank you to them.
I just want to share that my son got married last week in Palm Springs, and it snowed on his wedding day. It was beautiful. I think all the pictures will look very cold. We were outside, but I'm thrilled for him and his new wife.
We're going to need some celebrations on this side of the room, okay, guys?
All right. So online, Anne Marie is celebrating a wonderful climate march on Friday that was downtown. And Helen Lyle is celebrating that her sister Margaret has returned from New Jersey after visiting their other sister over there.
I'm celebrating going to the pool after this, and going to the ice rink, and celebrating my friend's birthday.
Woo! All right, we got one more from Al.
Thank you. So I want to celebrate last night an amazing cacao ceremony right here, and kirtan. Brother Greg and Victor and just amazing group of us, and it was magical. It was very uplifting, very powerful. The cacao as well as the music and just the community. It was really special. Aho!
All right, this is one of my, I love this part. Are you to blame for this? These are amazing. Anybody else enjoying these Earth celebrations? It's a tough time to look around the planet. Thank you, hon. It's a tough time to look around the planet now, and to hear this kind of good news is awesome. So today we have, coming from England, a critically endangered western chimpanzee has been born at the Chester Zoo. The male chimp is in good health and is spending the first few weeks of its life bonding with its mother, Zizi, and the other members of the zoo's 22-strong troop. There are only 18,000 of these chimps left in the wild, and efforts are underway to recover the species. So that is fantastic news. All right, we got our celebrations wrapped up. Children, or anybody identifying as one, come on up. And our grown child, William. What are we up to today, William?
Today we have popcorn and games, and we have a deck of cards to talk about basic spiritual values of love, compassion, wisdom, and humility. And I have the adventure of seeing what's out there, or what's in there with these guys with those subjects.
Fantastic. Got a nice big group tonight, or today? No, this morning. Boy, I'm all over the place. All right, don't go anywhere. We got a blessing to do here. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Come. See, I've told you, it's a kindergarten atmosphere today. Now, this blessing, when this popped up a few months ago, I was like, this is amazing. How many people in this room would have had a slightly different life had they heard this every morning when they woke up from whoever was raising them? This is just amazing. Who's responsible for this? Who wrote? Jane, you wrote this? I love this blessing. So, guys, you have no idea how lucky you are to receive this sort of praise from this group. So, if we can just hold our hands up and bless these kids. We appreciate the holy gift you are. We see the Christ light shining from you. May you always know what a treasure you are. May you always bring your gifts freely and fully to the world. Namaste. All right. You guys did great on that one. There was no want about it. We kept it going. All right. Announcements. Healing Sound. Tonight at 5:30. Anybody been? Yes. Amazing. I've only been a couple times. For some reason, Sunday night rolls around, and getting back out here, we're on the other side of town, difficult to do. But an amazing event. Come one, come all. All right, Unity membership information meeting that Jane is hosting out in the foyer, correct? Right? In the office. Okay, out in the office today after service. This is for those wild souls who are considering maybe a permanent, quasi-permanent, temporarily permanent membership here at Unity, and you want to know what it's about. If you go to the meeting, it does not mean you have to join. There's not going to be a hard sell. We're not selling Tupperware or cookware or anything like that there. So just to find out what's more. Maybe a couple? Maybe. I guess if there's a potential new member there who has some to sell, you might. Anyway. Anyhow, no pressure, but if you just want to know more, head on over there, and Jane will, she's Jane. It's going to be great. and honestly, if you're thinking about it, go for it. Again, if you're here, jump in. All right, Community Grief Ceremony, March 9th through 11th here at Unity. This is a special 3-day event service on grief. Lots of good details on the website. I read up on that. We all have grief that we need to deal with. If you live through the pandemic, you have grief that you need to deal with because you saw some stuff during that pandemic that you have not recovered from. So come on out. Special pricing for Unity members. It's open to everyone. The men's group, led by Dan. Monday. Anything you want to say about that, Dan, other than the fact that it's Monday at 6?
jump up here. Let's go.
Oh, Dan doesn't mind the stage.
Okay, come on now. Men's group has been really beneficial for a lot of the gentlemen here in the congregation, including myself. It's been a great opportunity to learn and grow and kind of master topics that are part of the 5 principles or maybe Course in Miracles, things like that. Writings by Eric Butterworth, on and on. So if you'd like to learn more and you like to evolve and grow your spiritual self, come join us tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
And on Saturday, March 18th at 10:30 in the morning, we have a poetry workshop with Donna. Is William also involved in the workshop? No, just you? Okay. Donna's hosting. Donna, she keeps making these poetry groups happen. I'm so glad she's doing that. And then later that evening, correct? 5:30 p.m. here at Unity. William's also going to be involved with that. If you haven't heard these two give their poetry, you're missing out. So at this event, it's an open mic for actual poets or anybody who thinks they might be a poet or want to be a poet or just want to try it out. And you're going to get some love. It's a very supportive event, and I've been to a few of them. I think they're great. And come on out. I'll probably even be at this one. More information on the website on all these things, by the way. All right. Last announcement, movie night. The Need to Grow. The Earth Care team is hosting this particular movie here at Unity, and afterwards there's going to be a sprouting demo, apparently on plants. I would assume we're sprouting some plants. Okay, cool. So come on for that. That is Thursday, March 16th, and that's here at Unity at 5:30 p.m. All this information is on the website. All right, next up we have Jane coming on up to talk about our newest member.
Katie, come on up. Whoops. Thank you. So this is Katie Schmidt. And Katie, you all know Reverend Tam. This is her daughter. Katie is a force in this world. We are so fortunate to have her as a member. She graduated a couple of years ago with 2 bachelor degrees. She has one in music and theater and arts, and she has one in something called IRIS, which is involving racial and indigenous equity, and she has 6 languages that she's in the process of learning. She has some she's conversational in, some she's just starting. She's somebody who's passionate about the world, the bigger world than just this, and she's like an embodiment of unity. She works with kids. She's a swim coach. She works with kids that are fresh out of juvie, helping to get them on the right course. She works with a children's book illustrator as an assistant. So she's, as you see, she's up here for Soulshine. She's volunteering with our kids. So you have got to get to know this woman, and she just got her first car, so that's a celebration too. So these are for you. And would you like to say why you want to be a member?
Sure. So like Jane said, my mom is one of the reverends, so I've been coming for 4 or 5 years now. And then Dave voluntold me to come join singing. And so I've been here, I've been helping in the back. Yeah, so I love this community. I was telling Jane, during the Burning Bowl, when I got my spirit animals, I have them now tattooed on my ribs. So hopefully those will not change in the future. So we'll see about that. But yeah.
All right. Thank you. Just one of the things that I love about Katie is that she's so much bigger. She's bigger than just an individual life. She's reaching out into the world already. And that's what I love about Unity too, that even though this place is amazing, and when we come here we feel so good, it's not just about this place, this building, this community. It's about so much more. We're a movement. We're a movement that is all about creating more positivity in the world and helping others to know that the way that we think makes a difference, that we can change the world. So we're part of something called Unity Worldwide Ministries, and there are other organizations, Unity headquarters, and I'll talk about those, but today I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Unity Worldwide Ministries. As the name suggests, it's worldwide. We have at least a dozen other countries represented in Unity Worldwide Ministries. We have a large Spanish-speaking population as part of our worldwide web. What that organization does is they provide services for us. Like there's a convention that I'll be going to in June. Sylvia will be there, Lisa Gottwald will be there, and people from all over the world will be there. So it's really something that helps us to further our education, which then supports you. We have a school underneath that Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, so I teach classes through that. People take classes through that. Sarah, we talked about at the meeting, she's in the Spiritual Direction Program. That's a program that's offered through Unity Worldwide Ministries. So when you're making your donations to this community, there's a percentage of what comes in that goes to Unity Worldwide Ministries because we are bigger than this. We are a worldwide movement, and it's important for you to know that when you say you want to be a member of this community, you're stepping into something global. Our mission statement is not fluff. We are creating a global ecosystem, and we are hooked in with others who are doing that work, so it's not all on us. So that's our Unity 101 for today.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you. We'll have her back up here in a minute. She's going to be back up here in a minute to do prayer. First, Lisa's going to come up and do a meditation, but hang on, let me introduce prayer real quick. Prayer in unity. It's a powerful thing. If you haven't experienced it, welcome. Anybody in this room received a miracle at this facility through the power of prayer? I'm going to point out the one I love more than anything on the planet. Whew, that was been emotional lately. She fell in a rock climbing accident a few years back, 15 feet on her back, and broke it. And thanks to a prayer team here, walked out of that hospital. An amazing healing. If you want to hear the story, talk to her about it, talk to me about it. It's cool. Prayer at Unity is a very, very powerful thing. In front of you have these little green forms, at the bottom of which you have a little QR code, so if you're into the digital world, you can just go ahead and scan that, and you can submit your prayer claims online, or you can fill out this form and pop it in the offering baskets later in the service. If there's something you need or want or just really longing for in life, I urge you, fill one of these things out. They're prayed on by the prayer team here, and they're sent on to Unity's mothership, and they're prayed on for another 30 days, and you will see miracles happen in your life. Ask anybody in this room who's had it. You're going to have some changes occur. All right, so prayer. So Lisa, come on up, let's do meditation, and then Jane's going to have us help us with prayer. Thank you, Lisa.
Good morning, everyone. As we move into our meditation with the crystal bowls this morning, let's just briefly contemplate the concept of harmony and harmony in the energy field and harmonizing with the frequency of love that hopefully, and I believe it is right now, radiating through all of our hearts. Okay, if you would please just sit up straight and have your feet flat on the floor. And with your eyes gently closed and softly breathing, become aware of the gentle sensation of your breath. And feel the softness of it moving in through your nose and down your throat, and following your breath into the center of your chest, into your heart. Into your heart. And smile softly at the foibles of life. And if you can keep that gentle smile going, just allow yourself to settle into your heart. And inhale light and love through the center of your heart. And as you exhale, allow the light to expand. Softly smiling. There's nothing you need to figure out right now. No problems to solve. Just harmony and gentleness within your heart. If you feel inspired, allow a gentle hum to begin. This increases the vibration through your body. It unifies our fields. We allow the love that we are to radiate more fully, to become the dominant force in our lives. Always returning to the love that radiates within our hearts. And softly now, just receive the harmonies. can gently remind yourself that you can always return to your heart. Thank you.
So we move from harmony into possibility as we hold in our hearts right now all those who may be struggling with health or finances or direction, those who may be looking for a home or peace in their country. They may be needing food. Whatever the lack that appears in life, we bring it, we lift it into this state of harmony. We release the need to know how. How will these needs be met? And instead, we bring ourselves into a state of knowing this harmony, this oneness that is part of all that is. This is the truth of our being and the truth of all with whom we pray. Harmony, fullness, life. We release the need to know how the illusion is transformed into the truth. We only know the truth. We hold that for all of these beings who are in our heart. And we affirm that just as these bowls have a power that radiated far beyond their physical surface, so the prayer that we hold, this knowing of the truth, is radiating far beyond the doors of this sanctuary. It is radiating into the cosmos, into the field of creation. And it is creating after its kind. And so it is. Let's affirm that through prayer. And know I am.
Be still.
Love is our ultimate reality, everywhere present and whole. It radiates abundantly and continually creates good in my life and in the world. As we gratefully acknowledge the presence and power of love now, we see the people and circumstances we hold in prayer healed and illumined by love, and so it is.
My demons, they've been climbing up the walls, keeping me up in the throes of the night. I twist and turn and batter myself blue, till I close my eyes and know I'll be alright. I surrender like the day turning to night. I surrender the way the ocean greets the morning light. I surrender when your heart touches mine. I surrender. I surrender like the summer to the fall. I surrender to be one with thee all. I surrender like a January blossom. I surrender. 40 years have been keeping them at bay. They wrestle with me for my mind. But when I look deep into your eyes, I see reflection of the love that's ours to find. And I surrender like the day turning to night. I surrender the way the ocean greets the morning light. I surrender when your heart touches mine. I surrender. I surrender like the summer to the fall. I surrender to be one with thee all. I surrender like a January blossom. I surrender. Time it slips and twists away, creeping back like shadows in our dreams. We try so hard sometimes to find the light, but the world is so much brighter than it seems. Come over, my love, I need you now. I'll hold you tight and never let you go. Planting seeds in the gentle earth, we'll dance in your garden as they grow. And I surrender like the day turning to night. I surrender the way the ocean greets the morning light. I surrender when your heart touches mine. I surrender. I surrender like the summer to the fall. I surrender to be one with thee all. I surrender like a January blossom. I surrender. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. When your heart touches mine, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. Like a January blossom, I surrender.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Victor. Whew. How many people have enjoyed seeing this young man blossom in his musical talents over the years? Thank you. Amazing growth as a musician in the few years that I've been coming here. Especially of late, I hope you don't mind me sharing, Victor had his heart run through a Vitamix, and it has really shown up in his musical talents of late, but amen to that. Surrendering to what life throws at you, because it is the struggle that makes you stronger. If you think of a seedling that's planted in a greenhouse with all the perfect conditions of life, all the bright light, all the right warmth, all the right moisture, all the right nutrients, you take that seedling, you take it out into the elements, that seedling's going to die rapidly because it never had to struggle. It never had to struggle to survive. So we have our wonderful Jane coming up here to give us a talk. Thank you, Jane. Can we hear it for Jane? That mic is working. You don't need this one, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I want to just echo what you were saying, Nate, about you, Victor, because I think Victor is really kind of the poster boy for this particular talk. In dark times, how do you find the light? And we've all had experiences where we've had heartbreaks in our lives. It's just kind of comes with the territory. But somehow he was able to move from a place of paralysis and heartbreak to connecting with the all, the light that's always there. And when we do that, we are able to navigate the dark times and do it beautifully and find the fount of creativity that is within us all. So this talk was actually inspired by Nico, and he's not here, so Kevin, you're going to have to make sure you make him sit down. You know how children always listen to their parents, especially when they're grown-ups. But he asked during the Ask Your Minister really about this question: what do you do? How do you keep positive in dark times? And so that's really what I want to address today. And so I have an acronym for you. It's called PACT, because it makes it easier for me to remember things when I have an acronym. So the first thing is to gain perspective. What is it that we're really looking at here? We tend to have a narrow look at what's awful without seeing the full picture. The other pieces of the acronym that I'll talk about are: where are we putting our attention, becoming complaint-free, and taking action. So, perspective. You've probably heard it said, and I couldn't find the exact place, but I know that Socrates had some rant in one of his writings about this generation and how it's all going to the dogs. And it's been a perception for a long, long time that things going forward are not good, that catastrophe is coming down the pike. That is not a new idea. But it's also even bigger than that. There are cycles, and indigenous traditions and other non-Western traditions have talked about this for a long time. So one of them is the Mayan, and the Mayans talk about the great cycle. So winter 2012, winter solstice, was the beginning of the end of a 5,125-year-long period. December 12th, 2021 is the full end of that period. So that has ended. How it's been, not just in our lifetimes, but for the past 5,125 years, is over. Now, these great cycles are not right angles. They don't come to, all right, we hit the end of it. It's a turn. Think like moving the Queen Mary in the harbor. So it takes a while, but important to know is that that cycle has ended. The Hindu scriptures, the Vedas, they talk about even larger cycles of 26,000 years. The yugas, they're called. The current yuga that we have been in is one of chaos and violence, increasing use and abuse of power. That ended February 2021. So all of those things that upset us, that are so wrong with the world, done, turning. In China, the I Ching, this same period, we're completing the cycles of changes, ending with the Lunar New Year, 2020. You notice that they're similar, but they're not exactly the same date because it's not a right angle, it's a turn. The book of Revelation, the Apocalypse, it talks about how millions are dying from illness, famine, earth changes, and warfare all over the world. Does that sound familiar? Like the news that you watch, if you watch the news? In the book of the Quran, one world is ending, another world is beginning. So ancient teachings from all over the world have been speaking of this. There are cycles, and the cycle is ending. Even social historians are noting the patterns. The rise and fall of cultures and civilizations have repeating patterns to them. So what we're seeing now is not something brand new. Those are all calendar-oriented predictions and cycles. There's also signs and portents, and those are ways to know that change is happening. One of the Native American traditions was, when the eagle has landed, there will be a change. In 1969, do you remember that quote? The eagle has landed, when we landed on the moon. The next day, in Congress, they introduced a bill allowing the Native people to practice their spiritual traditions, which, if you remember your history, had been outlawed. So that was a powerful sign. One of the signs was that the Caucasian children would begin to seek out learning about Native traditions and would be following them. And I know there are people in this room who are strong followers of those traditions. And the rest of us probably have dabbled in them enough to know something about them. So that is a sign that something is turning. The gourd of ashes is one thing that they talk about. That's the nuclear holocaust. And that's a sign that violence is going to be part of this transition. And we have seen that violence. What's next? The Mayans say there will be less interest in mechanical or electrical devices, more interest in biological and spiritual development. Interesting, There will be less empire building and more community building, which is what we're doing here. There will be less rocket science and more spiritual science. Less computers and more consciousness. Now, well, none of us are probably eager to give up our devices. The things that we're moving toward are things we're already interested in. And we can be part of the leaders of this new world. The North American say that only children of the earth living in the mountains and forests away from the cities, may thrive if the transition is really violent. If it's peaceful, native elders will teach large numbers of people of all colors to live in harmony with each other, with Creator's teachings, and with the earth. And so we pray to be that peace. The Christian teachings are that after 1,000 years of violent shifts and changes, a new heaven and earth in a crystal new Jerusalem, with the river of life flowing from the roots of the tree of life, that will happen. Obviously, all symbolic language, but it's language that stirs the heart to possibility. Barbara Marx Hubbard, who was a futurist who died a few years back, talked about birthing the universal human. And she was saying that just as in any birth, it's a time of danger, but also something beautiful is coming forth. And that all of this muck that we find ourselves traveling through is just the throes of childbirth. And we are moving into birthing something new. And rather than an individual, it's a consciousness where we are all one. And not just one people, but one earth, where the earth and all the beings on it matter. That is the shift. And with our Earth Care team, that's what we're really focusing on. That's what Unity Worldwide is focusing on. We want to be part of birthing a consciousness that's bigger than people, where we're all one. If we think about crystals, I'm sure we all love crystals. We've all probably got some crystals. Crystals are forged under pressure. So we have plenty of pressure right now. And if we think about ourselves, if we take the perspective that this pressure is creating something new and something beautiful and something powerful and life-giving, then so it is. That's P for perspective. Attention. Where are we putting our attention? Think about what we're looking at. Are we looking at drama? Sit in front of the news, and if it bleeds, it leads. That's what you're going to hear about. There are plenty of terrible things to report. But there are beautiful things that are not getting reported. There are magazines like Yes Magazine that is full of wonderful stories. Emergence Magazine. Those are some of the ones that I read. There are all kinds of online resources. Elaine Kornick is a maven of what's out there in terms of positive stuff, and if you don't have enough, that you are reading in your life, talk to Elaine. She's got this cultural butterfly project that's online, and it's all about how the butterfly of our consciousness is emerging from the muck of what we've got, the pressure of the cocoon, and she's got so many resources. They're out there. That's the kind of thing to put our attention on. A lot of us want to put our attention on our old stories because, you know, we've gotten pretty good at telling them. And human beings are natural-born storytellers. So we kind of like telling stories of how bad it is, how bad it was. We don't want to let go of those stories because we have them in our minds as facts, that factually that happened. Yes, it did. Some parts of that story happened, and our story is told through our perspective, which isn't always factual, it's emotional, and it's leaching our energy, unless it was a good story. So if we're putting our attention, always looking behind us, I mean, try driving. If you're looking like this, you're going to fall off the road. It's not a good idea. And it's not a good idea in life to be doing that. We want to put our attention on positive things. How about beauty? Look around this room. There's beauty all over. There's beauty in the faces beside you. There's beauty in the sounds. It's all beauty. There's so much beauty. This moment right now, regardless of whatever happened to you or is about to happen to you in your mind when you walk out the door, this moment, I'm pretty sure everyone is okay. This moment, we have this breath. And the more we remain in this moment, the more we dwell in well-being. Because the problems are somewhere else. They're not in this moment, for the most part. How about inspiration? How much inspiration are you feeding yourself with? Talk about minimum daily requirements. We need the nutrition of inspiration. And there are so many sources that are out there for it. I'm going to share a few stories, but this book, Humankind, is an amazing book. One story after another of people who have taken action, which is the fourth step in PACT. They've taken action to help others. It's so inspiring. This ought to be required reading for every human being, and it's full of resources of how you too can help. The C, complaints cost you. You know, we tend to complain about things we don't like. But it's not a good thing. Complaints are like the Course in Miracles talks about everything is disguised as it's really a call for love. Every action that's out there, even things that seem awful. Complaints are disguised requests. We have a longing for something to be different. And so, how about we just skip to the ask and ask for what it is that we want instead of complaining about it? You know, when we hear the babies crying, the babies don't have the ability to make an ask. And so they get a free pass on complaining. They get to cry. But by the time you're sitting in these chairs, you have the ability to ask for what you want. And that is much more helpful. How many of you really enjoy being around people who are complaining? Isn't there somebody? Alexa Haley, thank you. Chris, all right, we've got, so all of you who want to have your last your complaints stored someplace, go to those two. They like hearing complaints. And there's a future in a complaint department somewhere for you. But for most of us, it's talk about wah, wah. It really lowers the energy. Whereas if you just ask for what you want, then the person has a choice. They can say yes or no, or try to figure out a way to help you out with that. But it's draining your own energy because you're focusing on what you don't want. You're focusing on the negative. And if you want a world of light instead of a world of darkness, don't focus on the negative. And that's a habit. They have those purple bracelets for complaint-free world, and you're supposed to switch the bracelet every time you catch yourself complaining. And you'll be amazed if you're paying attention because you'll be doing this. It's a great little habit. You don't have to have a purple bracelet. You can get a rubber band. You can do whatever you want. But train yourself out of complaining because it's not good for our planet or for your own well-being. So I want to tell you a story about this woman. I read about this. If you get the Daily Word, it's in this month's Daily Word, Ana Maria Morales. She is the child of Mexican immigrants, and she lived in LA. And she had a dream that she would be the first one in her family that would go to college. And not only would she go to college, but she was going to fund it with her own entrepreneurship rather than stress her parents out to come up with money that they didn't have to pay for college. So when she was 7, she set up a lemonade stand at a parade in the area. And she took the money that she made at the lemonade stand and she opened a bank account and started saving. When she was 8, she was offering manicures at some festival in the area. Took all that money and banked it. She went door to door selling handmade greeting cards. She had all kinds of ideas. When she was a senior in high school, she realized that, she wasn't even close. She didn't have enough even to be able to afford the applications. And so she was not sure what she was going to do, and she decided to do some stress baking because that was how she got herself into the flow, and she came up with this amazing recipe for cheesecake. And the next day, she sent her mom off with some pieces of cheesecake for coworkers, and one of them was like, "Oh, please, can I have that recipe? That's the best cheesecake ever." And ding, ding, she thought, "No, I'm not giving the recipe away. I'm going to sell cheesecakes." And she decided to put herself through college, one cheesecake at a time. Yeah. Well, it took her 3 tries before she got into University of California at Berkeley, which was where she wanted to go. But she did it. She graduated from there. She paid for it all herself. And today, she has the College Confectionista is a nonprofit that she wants to help other young Latina women to go to college and to shore them up in skills that will help them to be entrepreneurs. So she could have complained. She could have sat there and just complained about her lot in life. And she would be doing the things that the rest of her family were doing, which is working hard without an education because life is miserable. But that's not what she did. All through high school, she had her room plastered with motivational quotes. She was listening to podcasts. She constantly nourished herself with inspiration, words that affirmed what is possible. And that's how she did it. She used Unity teachings, even though she wasn't part of Unity, hadn't heard of it. T, take action. So, Luis Oliveira. So, before I say that, let's talk about how do we take action. We take action through the power of our words. We say things that light people up. We encourage others. We do things that make the world a better place. Luis Oliveira is from Puerto Rico. And when he was in high school, I'd say a junior in high school, his teachers called him up after class one day, and he's thinking, oh, what did I do now? I'm probably in trouble. And he says, what are you doing wasting my time? And he's like, what? He says, you're a really smart guy. You should be going to college. And you're sitting here and you're just getting by. I bet there are people in this room who've been that kid in school, right? Just getting by. Could have done better, but why bother? And that's where Lewis was. He didn't see a future for himself. This is the first he's hearing about the possibility of going to college. Who, me? He didn't even think that was an option. But because of that teacher taking the time to single him out and say, you are meant for more, he got his act together and he started really studying. And he graduated with great grades, and he had a great score on his test for college. However, he couldn't get into college because he'd been frittering away the first few years and didn't have good grades, so his overall GPA wasn't good. And the admissions director is saying, sorry, you don't have the GPA, you can't get in, end of story. So he went down the hall and he found the director of the program. And he asked for a few minutes to talk to him, and he had a whole suitcase full of his awards from his science fair projects and all the things that he had done. And he talked to him, and this man sat with him, and he listened to him, and he asked him questions. And in the end, he walked him back to the admissions office, and he says, admit this guy. He has good things in him. And there's more to it than just a GPA. So those two men made a huge difference. Today, Lewis is working at an organization called HopeWorks that is dedicated to shifting the cycle of poverty for young people of color in Camden, New Jersey, which is one of the most violent places in the United States. He is somebody who was so brilliant in science that he could have gotten any job, but he felt this compelling need to help others as he had been helped. William Good had his father sent to prison when he was 14. And so his family had to move from North Carolina because they were farmers, and now they'd lost their farmer. So they moved to Philadelphia. And, he's a farm kid in this big urban environment, and he isn't sure how to navigate, and he notices this guy in a suit walking by his house every day. And so one day he goes up to him and he says, where are you going? And he's going to some church, and he says, do you want to come with me? So he comes along. Well, that man and his wife end up taking this boy under their wing. And they are forces for encouragement as he grows. When he's a junior in high school, he asks for a college application. And the guidance counselor says, oh, you don't need that. You should just get a job in a factory. A kid like you isn't going to go to school. And that would have been the end of his story, except that this couple sits him down and says, you are college material, and we're going to make sure that happens. And they kept after him, they helped him study, they raised money at their church to send him to school, they helped him fill out the application. We don't think about that. Like, you hear stories of Dave and Grace, and they've come from families where they're educated. But kids that grow up who don't come from those families don't know how to do those things. They need mentors. So he ended up going to college, and after college he decided to get into politics. He thought he might have more of a reach doing that. And so he did, and he eventually became the mayor of Philadelphia. And after his gig as the mayor of Philadelphia, where he did lots of good, excuse me, he had a lot of opportunities for consulting and so forth, and somebody asked him to consult for this organization called Amachi, and he decided rather than just consult, he would become the director of it. Amachi is an African word that means who knows what God has brought us through this child. And the organization is all about taking kids whose parents have been imprisoned and changing the story for them, because otherwise the statistics show that more of them than not end up in prison. That's the kind of work that you're doing, Katie. So it's important work. So he became the director of that, and into his 80s is still doing that work. So what will you do? You can write to people, encourage them, thank them. Oh, thank you. There you go, kindness in action. Think about, it might be people that you know, like maybe somebody's done something really good for you in your life. Have you ever stopped and written them a note and thanked them for that? Maybe at the time you didn't fully have the resources to be able to appreciate what they had done for you, but now you do. Or maybe you write to people that are going through difficult situations. Someone's just been diagnosed with breast cancer. Someone's sitting in the chemo lab. Someone's, whatever the situations are that you find. It might be somebody in this community. It might be somebody who's a stranger. Those people who are always sitting at the side of the road asking for money. Money isn't all they need. What if you wrote notes of encouragement? Maybe some of them wouldn't care, but somebody would. What if you stopped and talked to somebody who looks different than you? There's so many things that you could do. You can also guard your thoughts and keep your thoughts lifted, because that lightens our world. You can pray. We talk about prayer all the time. I'll be doing a workshop on prayer soon. And if you're not sure how to do it yourself, come take the workshop. And pray for others. Pray for our world. Pray the news when you hear the news. It's all about lifting our consciousness and how we hold things. Use your words to bless others. Consider yourself a radiant source of blessing. Take that seriously. Help other people. That if you're not signed up for YouCount now, that's something you can just go on the website, or you can talk to Carol Fox, who's, I'm not sure where she's sitting, but I saw her here. She's online today? Oh, okay, I thought I saw her here. Anyway, you can talk to Carol Fox. She organizes the email. And then when people need something in our community, they can put it out through YouCount. And if you can help, you have the opportunity. It's something that everybody should be on, because we never know when we're the answer to somebody else's need, or when we have a need, we can put it out. I would encourage you to get a copy of this book and look at the resources in the back and see if there's something there. As you read the stories, there may be some stories that really sing to you, and you want to be part of that organization, to contribute to it in some way. in some cases it's money. Almost every organization needs money. But there are other kinds of help that they need too, and things that you can do, and those suggestions are in there. So I hope that helps to give you tools, because when we feel like there's nothing we can do, that's the worst kind of darkness. But when we realize that, oh, there is something I can do, then that helps us. So I'm asking us all to make that pact, to think about what's going on in our world from a higher perspective, to be careful where we're putting our attention, to stop the complaining and take action for good. And as we do that, we become a force, making this world a better place. Namaste. Thank you.
I am light and love. I'm always enough, and I'm living in the moment. When I'm feeling stuck, I still don't give up, 'cause every battle leads to growing. What is meant to be will always find me. Feel that energy, 'cause if I see a chance, I will take it. I feel the boundaries breaking. This world is mine, I will make it, and love the life I'm creating. I am thankful for all I have and more. See my abundance overflowing. I'm not thinking small, I can have it all. Opportunity is showing. Turn your wrongs to right, don't stop, put up a fight. Mornings into the night. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I see a chance, I will take it. I feel the boundaries breaking. This world is mine, I will make it, and love the life I'm creating. Keep my eyes on the bright side. My thoughts are what I decide. Focus on what I can do. How I feel is what I choose. Yeah, I see a chance, I will take it. Whoa,
goodness. My goodness. Anybody feeling more abundant now than they were a half hour ago? I am. We are so blessed here. Thank you, Jane, for that beautiful talk. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Anybody in here, are they better off today than they were before they met Jane? Anyone? I mean, speaking of people who might want to meet Jane, new visitors, do we have any new guests here for the very, very first time? I have one back here, a tube over here. All right. Can I maybe twist your arms to introducing yourself and saying how you found us today? All right, hang on a second. Let's get you on.
I was invited by this guy.
Excellent, excellent. What's your name?
Oh, Jason.
Jason, welcome. Where are you from, Jason?
Here in Penn.
Here in Penn, excellent. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you came. I know you didn't volunteer to say anything. But.
Hi, I'm Melissa Moffett. I'm a longtime Unity member, not here, just visiting this area. My friend Christina, who lives here, so I kind of made her come with us.
Excellent. Where are you coming from?
We live right now in Westland by Portland.
Excellent. Welcome. Glad to have you here. All right. So for those of you who are feeling more abundant right now, it's time for our offering. But I got a quick story for you guys about abundance and perhaps the difference between heaven and hell. There was a gentleman who in 2020 saw the news of a pandemic coming. I'll step over to the side. Saw a pandemic coming, and everybody was worried and worried about, is there going to be enough in the stores for us because the pandemic's going to shut everything down? And so out he rushed to Costco, and he loaded up his cart with toilet paper because he's worried, because that's what they said. We're going to run out of toilet paper. So he stacks his cart high with toilet paper, and he rushes home, and he gets the toilet paper into his house. He's like, and he's watching the news, and he's watching people who go to the store to buy toilet paper, and they can't buy toilet paper, and he goes, suckers, I got mine, right? So that night, he's on the toilet, and he has a heart attack and dies. Okay? And off he goes, and this spiritual being comes to him, this bright light, and says, oh my God, I'm dead? Am I going to heaven or hell? Well, let's find out, sir. And so off they go to the afterlife, and he sees a table full of people, just piled full of food and abundance. He's like, oh, I'm in heaven. And then he notices the people at this table are emaciated, and they're weak, and they're miserable. He's like, what's gift? They have strapped to their arms 4-foot-long fork and a 4-foot-long knife. And if you have a 4-foot-long fork and a 4-foot-long knife strapped to your hand, you cannot put the food in your mouth. And he goes, oh, this is terrible. Am I in hell? Says, well, not exactly. Oh, well, show me heaven then. And they go to this other room, and the same abundant table full of food and all the things you could ever imagine wanting to dine on. And the same two people, same rows of people, one row of people on one side, one row of people on the other side. And they have the same 4-foot fork and the 4-foot knife on their hands, strapped to their hands. But these people are well fed, they're happy, they're joyous, and they're enjoying each other's company. What's the difference? They were using those 4-foot knives and those 4-foot forks to cut the food up and feed the person across from them. Meanwhile, in hell, they're trying to take care of themselves and only themselves. And thus they are starving. And so we say, heaven and hell, not necessarily a place up there and down there, but right here, right now. How are you approaching life now? Are you giving or are you only taking? Well, let's talk about giving. Here at Unity, these lights do not shine without money. We've got these cards here, or these envelopes here. Let's pack them full of some of your abundance and put them in those offering baskets. They're going to come around. Thank you, thank you.
Sing our gratitude song.
I got gratitude in my heart. I got gratitude in my soul. I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you. And thank you. just want to say thank you for it all. Thank you for it all. I got gratitude in my heart. In my heart. Got gratitude in my soul. In my soul, baby. I just want to say thank you.
Mahalo.
I just want to say thank you. Muchas gracias. I just want to say thank you for it all. Thank you for it all. Thank you for it all.
All right, if you are not into the whole paper thing, writing checks and all that jazz, we do have electronic options for you as well. Some of the seats out there have these cards in them, and you can scan these codes, you can give online, you can text it in. If you want to do it online and you don't have one of these cards in front of you, out on the table outside is a big old version of this that has these same codes. So go ahead and scan it, and you can give that way as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and bless this offering because it is evidence of our abundance. All right, repeat with me, please. From the love of pure spirit within us, we bless these gifts. We send them forth to heal, bless, and prosper. They are evidence of our faith and belief. They do good work in the world and return to us multiplied abundantly, and so it is. Thank you, everyone. That is our closing. We invite you to stay and socialize on Zoom if you are online, and we would love some help moving some of the chairs out of here for our amazing sound bath tonight. We need the whole room now, maybe except the last couple of rows. And if you're interested in one of those miracle prayers, our prayer chaplains are going to be up front here. Come on up. Don't be shy. They love what they're doing, and they would be super grateful to pray for you. Thank you, everyone. And on our way out, we're going to read the prayer of intention. If Nolan's going to fire that up for us. Holy light shines within and all around me, a presence of love that is always there. I am that presence. I am a radiant field of love energy. I am holy light. My essence cradles and guides me. I am a gift in this world. I go forth in joy to bless the world with my loving light. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week.
I got gratitude in my heart. I got gratitude in my soul. I just want to say thank you. Thank you. I just want to say thank you.
Dankeschön.
Yeah, that's you. I just want to say thank you for it all. Thank you for it all. Have a good week.